So Julie, you've obviously been doing this for a long time, and obviously your dad started it off and you took over there. So in your experience, what are some tips if I want to get this running right across my school? What would be some of the key tips that you'd give us?
Okay, well, ideally you do want it across the schools, and get it into your maths curriculum, written into the program so that every class is expected to play it at least a couple of times a week. There's lots of ways to play it. I have some schools where a class will commit to playing, a half hour, a 3/4 hour block. But to be honest, that's hard to fit into the curriculum these days. And numero is ideal as a warm-up, as a math starter. So if you've got your packs in your class, I in fact, when I'm teaching, if I'm in a classroom, numero is available. As soon as my kids walk in the morning, set up their desks, they grab a pack of numero and they'll start playing. So it's used as a choice for the children as well. But then when we're doing our maths lesson, if we're working on number facts or whatever we're doing, let's pull out the numero and play a 10-minute warm-up. Or sometimes at the end of the maths, they get all their work done. There's their 10 minutes of numero. I also have it used, I've got schools that instead of silent reading, now a lot of schools will do silent reading 5 days a week, straight after lunch for 10 or 15 minutes. I've got some schools who'll do that 3 days a week, 2 days a week, the whole school will do numero.
Okay, that's not a bad little idea.
Now, obviously, to do that, the classes have to have their own class sets. You don't want to be sharing classes between packs between classes if you can avoid it, simply because that's where you lose the setup time.
Yeah,
you want them packed how you want.
I can imagine early years wouldn't have some of the wild cards in, and I can see that would be a disruption to you.
And even within that classroom, you've got your 15 sets in your class for your 30 strong classroom. You might have 5 packs set at one level, another 5 set at another level, and another 5 set at another level, and the kids know which pack suits their group.
So when you numbered the packs, you talk about numbering the packs. So, Paul and Julie get pack 3 because we're
at that level.
Okay, pretty good thinking.
So set them according to that. Here's a really big tip to avoid wasting your resources, and that is, don't do what I've seen some schools do. Take out the cards the kids are playing with, put the rest of them in a tub and put it back in your math storeroom. Okay. Because I've seen people come through and clean out storerooms and say, well, they're not full packs and we're going to bin them.
Yeah, okay.
So I suggest you get a nice big tub, and in that tub put all the cards in the boxes that they're not using, then put like a piece of cardboard or plastic or something down, and have the cards they're playing with just in a lacquey in the top. So the kids can go up and grab the pack they want and start playing. When they're ready for new cards, they find the matching corresponding pack in the bottom of the tub and just take out the 2 cards they want to add to their deck.
Okay, and I believe some schools have like a club. Is that how they set it up?
We have lunchtime clubs. There's a lot of schools that have lunchtime clubs. You have a chess club. A lot of schools will have a numero club. And they'll meet 1 lunchtime, sometimes 2 lunchtimes a week. I have schools that have before school clubs. I've been to a few schools that have breakfast clubs. The kids go there, they get breakfast, and they sit and play numero. It's also very good for some of those schools where some kids have to get there very early. If they've got a setup where they can have those kids
or the school bus arrives at a certain time.
Well, that happens a lot in the regional schools where, depending on the bus routes, some kids have to get there early.
So Julie, I mean, obviously you're still teaching, teaching now because you spend a lot of time teaching how to play numero. That's your other job, so to speak. But you obviously must have seen this used in lots of places, and it strikes me you either commit or you don't commit, and you'll get certain teachers that are really strong with it.
Yep.
And they go with it, and then they shift on and so forth.
Well, I was just going to say, it's really hard for a teacher who's committed to numero if they're not getting the support of their school.
Yeah.
You do really want to get the support in. You want your teachers all trained so that they can take it into the classroom and use it effectively. And the beauty is, if you can get the whole school involved, you're introducing all the social skills and the gameplay involved with the game right from the start. Then progressively the maths increases. So as they go through the years, your classes aren't having to teach the game. Much like a lot of your games, Paul. Teach the game, change what they're doing within the game. So we get the game taught, then they can develop as the years go through.
Do you also find some parents are prepared to help, particularly in the initial stages?
Absolutely. Get parent helpers in there. I run a lot of parent workshops. I have P&Cs support me with that. Okay. They will actually pay to get me to come out and teach parents. That can be with or without their students, depending on the situation within the school. We do afternoon ones, we do evening ones. Okay. Always open to that sort of thing.
Particularly when you're teaching this, it's handy to have an adult there to just...
Can I throw in there too, to schools that decide to do training for their staff? Some schools train their teachers and forget about the EAs.
Yeah, okay, good point.
EAs need to be included, because if you can get your EAs trained in Numero, it is so much more valuable to your classroom. So there's all your rotations in your early years. So we have a Numero as a rotation table in the kindies and the pre's. It's so much easier for them.
Okay, thanks for that practical advice, because obviously you know it extremely well and how people have been using it.
Yep.